So my name is Mike Yoder. I am with Wintech LLC. I'm co-founder and CTO. We're the developers of Alice Receptionist. And Alice Receptionist is a virtual receptionist designed for both small and large companies to manage their visitor traffic to office buildings or lobbies areas. So what Alice Receptionist does, let me get it started here, is, so like I said, it manages visitor traffic. So you might ask, why would a company want a virtual receptionist in their building, or what benefit does Alice provide? And basically, what Alice will do is it'll greet visitors as they walk into a lobby area. It'll notify employees of their arrival. If I can get her to start here. Let's try that one. And then it actually allows the visitor and the employee to communicate via two-way video. So what I'm loading here is a pretty typical Alice system. It's set up for a multi-tenant building with a list of companies there to your right. And as visitors walk in, Alice greets them. So it's just like a real receptionist. So the demo we're going to provide tonight is going to include my coworker here, Patrick, as an employee in the building, and I'll be a visitor. And so what we're going to demonstrate is how Alice greets a visitor as they come in the front door. At the same time, it'll notify the employee that the visitor has arrived, and then it'll also connect the two via two-way video.
Hello, I'm Alice,
so this is the welcome message.
Receptionist. Please wait here as I
volume down a little bit. So now you can see I've got Patrick up here on the screen. So if I'm a visitor, I can see Patrick. He can see me, and I can also see myself here in the little small window. So just that quickly, a visitor is greeted when they walk in the lobby. The employee is notified, so the employee knows somebody's in there, and then he answers, and they're connected in a two-way conversation. So that basically is what your receptionist is doing when she's in your front lobby. The reason why companies, and Patrick, yeah, if you'd hang up, please. The reason why companies are going away from receptionists, obviously there's a cost reason for that. There's also a reason that basically the business to customer communication is changing. So there's not as much customers going into a building. It's a lot more communication through the web, through social media, through call centers or whatever. And so companies are laying off their receptionists, and we wanted to provide a solution that sort of bridged the gap between an expensive and not necessarily productive full-time position and just leaving your lobby empty, which is sort of cold and unprofessional. There's a lot of other features which I won't be able to cover. So what I'm going to do is, well, I'll show you one or two things. Real quickly, once you drill down on a company, you can see a list of employees within that company. So if the visitor is there to see a specific person, they can click on their card. It'll initiate that call to the employee. We have information that we provide to the visitors,
this
like
map
maps,
shows your current location and other points of interest.
and other information that would be useful to a visitor to a office building or complex. Once again, let me run real quick. I've got a minute-long video which will sort of highlight some of the other features in a much faster way than I can speak in a minute. So I will run that.
Can be confusing. Presenting Alice, a new kind of receptionist. Like any good receptionist, Alice greets visitors, notifies employees of the visitor's arrival, and connects visitors with employees in face-to-face conversation without the employee having to leave their desk. With Alice, now a single receptionist can monitor and manage many locations. Using the Alice software, a receptionist can see, engage, and help visitors throughout a building, city, or even across the country, all from the convenience of their own desk. Alice can even keep your employees connected when they're out of the office. Calls can be forwarded to any phone number, tablet device, or smartphone. Alice receptionist systems come in a variety of hardware configurations to match any building environment. Ready to learn more? Just visit alicereceptionist.com and discover why companies around the world are choosing Alice.
speaks first?
So we have a couple different scenarios it can be set up and configured under. That's what we refer to as operator mode. So yes, it actually, in operator mode, as soon as it recognizes somebody walking in the building, it welcomes them, and it connects an employee, like we just demonstrated, who sees that person walking in and then interacts with them. So in that scenario, they don't have to touch the device at all. It's just someone pops up, how can I help you? We also have a self-service mode, which you may see the system out here is typically running in that mode, which is more of a, they wait for the visitor to interact with that, and by navigating through the directory and finding the person they want to talk to. Ethan?
What are the chances of this going Terminator on us?
Terminator? If we put it on wheels. But you know, she's not that bad of a looking Terminator. So.
That's how they start.
That's right.
Like, can I virtually wait for somebody to walk through the door? Can I, if I'm expecting someone, can I click on something and then just watch the front door and wait till that person gets there and jump up, do with whatever?
Yeah, that is actually not in the version we have released today, but it's actually already been built. We're just going through the testing of our next client version, and that is a feature that will be in there probably within the next 30 days that will be available.
And then can I videotape just my whole front area?
So security is a big portion of what we're going to be working on this year because we are going after enterprise and government agencies. And so there's going to be a whole slew of security features like taking snapshots of everybody who walks in, time stamping, on-demand recording, that sort of thing. Yeah, absolutely.
Great. Thank you.
Who's your ideal customer for this?
So,
company size-wise?
Sure. When we started, we thought it would be small, medium businesses because for the small, medium business, they can use their existing staff and manage their lobby, which is great. But what we found is actually the financial benefits are much larger for large organizations. So like we've got a company in California, Flextronics, they have a campus with 9 buildings, I think, and they have one receptionist, and the other ones, they have to check in with her, and then they go to the other buildings. They're putting Alice at all those other buildings, and she can now manage all those buildings remotely from that one location. And so for large organizations, and we have a couple of large organizations that are looking to utilize it as, they're not replacing receptionists, they're getting better utilization out of the receptionist. So instead of that receptionist managing one location, she can manage many. So I think large organizations is where we're going.
And then what's the, I guess, traffic flow rate that they can deal with? Because I don't know if it's a bottleneck or...
Right. So what you can do is with the client application, you can actually put people on hold. I didn't demonstrate that, but you can put people on hold as new. It's sort of like a switchboard is how they manage their calls. So they get notified when somebody's at another location. They can answer that, or they can put it on hold, or whatever. It's just going to be, scenario that is based by each company, how much traffic they have. Of course, you can add more kiosks and add more remote people to manage that if you need to scale up.
Is there going to be an inherent learning curve with regard to people walking into an establishment expecting a real human being and not necessarily knowing that there's a kiosk that's going to serve that purpose?
So that's why we have the motion detection, right? So it greets them as soon as they walk in. And really what we're solving right now is not necessarily replacing the receptionist that's already there, but companies that have already chosen not to have a receptionist. So that you've got a bell that you ring or buzzer, or you've got a list of directory and you have to pick up the extension, call someone. So that's not a very intuitive solution either. This is way more intuitive, impressive, and like I said, she greets you and talks to you and interacts with you. And in the operator mode, a live person just pops up and starts talking to you. So it's really intuitive for the visitor.
I have a question for like professional service businesses, doctors, lawyers, etc. Do you have a queuing mechanism so when somebody checks in, they know that they're in a certain order to the next person that checks in?
Not really. We haven't really done a whole lot of check-in components yet. That is also something that's on the drawing board for badge printing and some more of those type of check-in features. That's probably going to be out toward the end of this year or next year. So right now we don't have that kind of queuing system in place.
Can I choose between a blonde or brunette?
That's probably the most common question. You can. I mean, we provide the Alice that you saw on the screen tonight, but it's really, you can record your own, and many of our companies have. using internal employees, or you can record a professional one. It doesn't really matter to us.